Let's do it, baby. Let's do it. CKRT coming at you.
Good morning, actually, everybody. This is your host, Petey, and
Good night, Kevin Filion. Coach Kevin. Coach Kevin coming at you with Petey. Live on CKRT.
Border City Radio.
I even put the .com in there too, because we go around the world. This is so cool. Like people around the world are listening to us. It's not just, we're locally based in Amherstburg, but I mean, we're streaming everywhere. And especially we got, the Windsor. There's a lot of stations that don't have that, much capacity in the smaller towns. So awesome. And congratulations, CKRT. What do I say? BorderCity.com. Yeah, we got a great station. I'm excited. It's, I think, my third show. It's my third show on the station.
Yes, sir.
And Petey, my co-host, which is well known, especially in the radio business, and I'm proud to have him as my coach and as my friend and as my feedback guy for the generation that he's at. We'll be talking about that shortly. So, Petey, you feeling better?
Yes, I'm feeling much better than I did last week. I'm still coming over a chest infection. That's it, though.
It's that time of year, right?
Mm-hmm. Unfortunately.
It's that time of year that I don't know what it is about this season, but I guess we get colds and we get viruses, and it's kind of like the season that we got to be careful and protect yourself. I see a lot of people wearing masks now, which is maybe a good safeguard, especially if you're low immune system and you're close to people who are elderly, especially. I'm looking after my mom, so I definitely have to be careful of what I pick up and don't give to her. So it's we go through a little period. It goes a couple months, and then we kind of go through it, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I might start wearing a mask. Amherstburg, congratulations on what's going on Murray Street. I live just across the corner. And two great things are happening right now. One has just happened, and the other is going to be happening shortly on Murray Street. Do you know what they are, Peter?
I do not. What's going to be happening on Murray Street?
Well, we have the garage gym has moved over there, and this is the gym that I personally train at and do my body forging program. The garage gym moved from their old location, and they're on a brand new building that's being built. And just the outside is going to be finished. Parking is great because you're right across the street. You have all the public parking, so that's not a problem. The gym itself is well equipped with powerlifting, strength training equipment. It's not that old school style of all those cams and machines and stuff. This gym is just, we do chin-ups, we do push-ups, we do all the exercises that the great creator Tony and Austin put together to make you stronger. And then they throw in the cardio program, which is like a short duration cardio. In other words, you go on a bike, don't stay on that bike for 45 minutes to an hour working your butt off at a high heart rate. That does more damage. So I finally found a club that believes in short HIIT program. Hit it hard, back off. Hit it hard, back off. And when you do that, that's how your heart builds. It's like when you lift, you lift heavy, then the next day you come in, you lift heavier, and then you back off, you go back and forth. Don't forget, people's powerlifting champion, Canadian, heavyweight division. I was a strong guy.
Mm-hmm.
So strength is important. I think when I was at a national level, competing in powerlifting and strongman, I was the strongest man in Canada. Very cool. I always like putting on my accolades on this one. I benched 500 pounds. PD, that's a lot of weight.
That is a lot of weight. That's like 3.5 of me.
So it's strict. It's not one of those bounce and goes. If I did a bounce and go, that'd be 535. But I benched 500 pounds, and I set a record back in that day. Now they probably do a lot more, of course. But and I picked up 750 pounds, called a deadlift, and I squatted 750 pounds on my back, called a squat. Those three things: the bench press, upper body, right, shoulders, arms, chest. Right, and then you got the squat, which is obviously lower body, glutes, hams, quads, the big muscles, the strong muscles, So then of course you got the deadlift, which is your lower back and leg strength. So those three moves cover it. If you want to get strong, you can go to a gym and do 15 machines and do 3 sets of machines and do all these isolation exercises. And some of it's good. But basically, you just want to be a strong person to be healthy. A healthy person is a strong person. Only the strong survive. And that is so true if you think about it. Only the strong survive. So, yeah, I'm going about the gym and I'm going back into it. But getting back to Murray Street, the other thing is that we got a hotel opening up.
Hmm.
So and they're right across the street from each other. So you got and they got the parking's fine too. Everyone's always worried about the parking. I went through there. There's no problem with parking unless they get
And we're talking about Amherstburg, by the way.
Yes, yes, yes. So both things. You got a hotel. I think it's our first one, isn't that not? I think you have bed and breakfast or something.
It's not the first one we've ever had, but it's every other one is closed, and this is the first one that's like revived or like come out of nowhere. So I'm excited for it. We needed one of those.
Yeah. So I see a lot of things popping up. So it's good. Obviously, the whole hotel thing I think is crucial if you're trying to bring in, tourists or people who invest or come in. They want a place to stay overnight,
right?
Or even I don't want to drive back to Windsor or O'Hare or whatever. I would like to have a hotel in that town. And don't forget I'm a newbie, Amherstburg. I'm a newbie, so I'm still learning too. My mom and dad have been here for 15 years, and that's why I came and looked after my mom. So I'm still a newbie, but the first thing you notice is, as an outsider, is where do I stay?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm here, but I'm tired. I want to go to sleep. Where's the nearest hotel?
Yeah, even the poor Canadian down on his luck, he just found his way out here one day. Where's he gonna go? Like, what happens when you got that long distance traveler who just
go to the Coast Guard office,
sleep on the boat?
You gotta sleep on that big Coast Guard. It's funny they made one of those Coast Guard boats a hotel or a restaurant. I've been reading about that too.
Did they?
Yeah,
that's cool.
They made one of those things, those small ships, I guess. Those big, it's a small Coast Guard ship, and it's they made it a hotel. It's not far from here, and I think they move it, and that's pretty cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, so cool stuff happening. Weather's good. Amherstburg's good. Yeah, all good stuff. We just gotta get sick people healthy. How about that?
Yeah, for real.
Now, going on to something that's going to lead into something else. Doing my research, you know me with research, Petey. I'm a research freak. I'm a Facebook freak. I'm a social media freak. I'm always on the computer, and I know, my mom is the same thing. And she's 83, and she's on that computer. So I think knowledge is power and strength. I think it's good that you go into Google and you research things. And if you want to know something, you research it. That's what I do, and I think it makes you strong. So I was doing some research on Canada, always studying all things about Canada, and I got into about fertility in Canada. That is, babies born, fertility of babies. So you wonder how many babies are born versus how many deaths. You kind of got to do the math and see if we're negative or positive. It's like you're spending money versus making money.
Yep.
I get you. So if the deaths are you're losing money, and
we're having more coming in than we're taking out.
Yeah, well, and that's a business. That's called profit and loss. And let's face it, everything's business. Our government, everything's business. We don't talk politics, but it's business. It's the government is a business. It's how much money we can make in taxes to pay our bills. Just like any little city town of Amherstburg or any town of metropolitan Toronto, it's all based on they're all businesses, all connected to one major business is the country, the world, right? Everything is a business. Mm-hmm. So I was shocked, and I want to play this for you, Petey. I'm going to play this. This is just CTV News. And I want to just play it real quick. Okay, let's check it out and see if we can get this going.
Yeah, sure thing.
Canada's fertility rate hit a new low in 2022. This is a report from Statistics Canada. Shows the total fertility rate dropped to a new record low of 1.33 children per woman in 2022. The agency says the 5 lowest rates in the last 100 years were recorded in the last 5 years. StatsCan now says Canada's rate is among the lowest fertility rates in the whole world. Joining me to discuss more is Kate Choi, director of the Center for Research on Social Inequality. Kate, thanks for taking the time for CTV today.
Good morning. It's a pleasure to be on your show.
Yeah, what are the factors here? What's contributing to this? What do you think?
There are several factors that are contributing to the fertility decline in Canada, and some of it is affordability issues, particularly housing affordability issues. It's also, there's a general trend that we have been seeing over the last 6 decades where fertility over the long run has been decreasing steadily as well.
Is that partially as well just by choice? Some women don't want to have as many children.
So I think it's a little bit more complicated than that. First and foremost, because of the economy is getting more competitive, it is the case that both men and women are staying in school for prolonged periods of time, and people often delay their fertility until after they finish school. It's also the case that often young individuals and couples may want to delay fertility after they have a down payment for a home, or they have a suitable and secure place to raise their children. So while there is a normative change towards low fertility, it's also the case that there are a lot of economic barriers that are resulting in delayed and foregone fertility.
Some women choosing to have children later in life is what you're saying.
Some women are choosing to have children later in life because the economic needs have changed, so that we have moved away from a single earner family towards a dual earner family.
What about other high income countries? So,
Okay, it's interesting. What she was just going on and not going anything else was it's economics. She would say we're not having kids as much as we did because of economic reasons, right?
Yeah,
that's basically what she was saying.
We're in a position where we need a 2-person household, like a complete family household, in order to raise a child nowadays. So a lot of people are tending to gravitate to waiting later in life, once they've had gotten married, have a foundation with a house and job, career, and then they have a kid. But not everybody is going to get to that point, right? Or it's going to take a lot longer to get to that point. So I think that's, in a nutshell, what she was kind of explaining. That's what I got from it, at least.
Yeah. Let me give you my outlay on it.
Yeah, let's hear it.
I think that kids today, and this is why I got you as my co-host. I want you just gave me one feedback, but I want you to give me another thought on something. Kids today, they're usually having kids between your age, 25 to 35. I researched the top 10 years, the birth. Kids, we have kids have kids. I say kids having kids. Your generation having kids. Now, you mentioned something about COVID. You thought that COVID played a part in because you're that age and you're in that sex age and having baby age, and from 25 to 35 getting forming a family before you're 40. Again, it used to be 30, now it's 40. So tell me about your thoughts on COVID again.
Honestly, I think it just kind of put everybody in it was kind of like a half and half. You got some people who were locked away for so long that they just wanted to get out and have fun. And then you had other people that were like too scared to. They were genuinely concerned about the idea of going and meeting new people after it. It kind of instilled that like stigma of, 6 feet away, wear a mask. I mean, I'm sure that might have helped that actually a little bit. If everyone's wearing masks, everyone
hard to have sex with a mask on though, Trump.
Yeah, true. But you know what I mean? Like there is no competition now.
Before there's babies born, there is called getting together and having here's the word. Remember intercourse. Let's just say the word intercourse. But so that's what I'm saying. Babies aren't being born. This lady said that because of economics, and you're saying because of just that type of generation right now through COVID, which is the generation. But I mean, now COVID's over, right? I know we're having some things go back and forth. So do you think kids will get together? When I say kids, I mean your age, getting together and having some kids?
I don't know, because ever since COVID happened, everything's gotten more expensive. There's more lack of trust in our government than ever before that I've seen in my lifetime. And it's hard for someone our age to just afford it now, even. The idea of setting them, they already think life is our situation is already not in our favor. So the idea of putting the weight of another person that is being created in this world by you at that given moment, it's a very daunting responsibility that a lot of us aren't comfortable to make yet.
Okay. Gotcha. Good point. All good points, Pete. All good points. My point also, I think, is we're also in this drug age. Now, I think a lot of people of all ages are on pharmaceutical drugs.
I agree.
I think it starts young as whatever we're in school, we used to take Adderall used to be a big one, Petey. Adderall used to, when kids eat that Adderall, of course, was the
Still kids. Yep, I had kids in my class.
And now they have for different symptoms, different diseases. They give ATP for kids.
Attention deficit.
Thank you.
Yep, I know. Yep.
Adderall. So Adderall, and of course, I think they say the prescriptions for antidepressants at your age, in your group, we're talking about that 10-year factor right there, from 25 to 35 when you make babies. So I think the drugs also plays a role because it takes away your sex drive, these drugs. A lot of people don't realize that when you take a lot of different drugs, your sex drive, your libido goes right down because your testosterone goes right down. See, these are all testosterone suppressants. So I think a lot of kids who are taking antidepressants, I think kids are taking a lot of maybe anti-fat. We had this whole program on Ozempic. Did you watch the new CNN this morning? I don't know if you were. I was racing to work too, but
I didn't. Let's hear it.
Well, they announced today that Oprah has sold all her shares in Weight Watchers.
Wow.
And the stocks plummeted. Now, we talked about this subject, if you've been following the listeners, we talked about this subject 3 weeks ago. And I think we had Jake on the line, and we had a program that we were taping, and it was all Ozempic, and it was talking about exactly that. So we were like 3 weeks way ahead of the game because I guess they take a while to catch up. But yeah, she sold her shares in Weight Watchers and bought shares in Ozempic. And Ozempic shares went straight up through the roof. Okay. Because one lady bought shares. Yeah. Now, this one lady happens to be the most influential people in the world,
yeah, absolutely.
Especially for women. So whatever she does, they eat up. And she's lost weight, so she's a great role model because she's got the biggest microphone, and she's got weight loss. And so I was, oh, look, she's so gorgeous. And then she said, yeah, I'm gorgeous because I take Ozempic. Oh, I eat okay and I do that, but I take Ozempic. So she promotes this drug that we showed on the show had all kinds of side effects. Now, the good news is Canada, just in the last 3 weeks now, have written a legislation where only a doctor can prescribe Ozempic only for diabetes. In other words, you cannot go into a doctor now and say, I want Ozempic for weight loss. So,
isn't that what it was originally meant for?
Diabetes.
Yeah.
It was, okay. Yeah, and then it got out that it also, by the way, because don't forget, diabetic people are overweight because the sugar insulin, which causes fat storage, which causes them to gain weight. So a lot of heavy people are diabetics. So all of a sudden, you've got a twofold. You've got a diabetic medication coming in, right? And it also makes you lose weight. Great. Double positive, right? Mm-hmm. Double whammy. And if Oprah's doing it, everyone's doing it. So stocks went through the roof. And you can't talk to somebody now that doesn't know what Ozempic is for diabetes or weight loss. But they finally, but now, thank you, Canada. The Americans got to get with it too, because they also now restrict and put some regulation on it because they saw the reports of all the paralysis of the stomach and all the problems it was causing in the gut. And Ozempic it's a short, it's been around, but I mean, the long-term studies have not shown that when these people take it for weight loss, all the problems it creates and the side effects. Mm-hmm. And I think, we don't care about side effects, it seems. We seem like smokers. For instance, we see on the packages of cigarettes and people dying and falling apart and things growing out of their body all over. And these horrible pictures of what cancer does, and they put them on the package of cigarettes. And you put them on the filters now, I notice it says this will cause you to die. But we don't care.
Yeah, because, it's like you smoke one and it didn't do anything at that given moment and that one time. So,
but it's a drug. And nicotine is also a big effect on testosterone. Mm-hmm. So your testosterone is your sex hormone. So when you take certain drugs, pain medication, Lipitor for cholesterol reduction medication kills your sex drive. So antidepressants, pain, diabetes, all these things kill your sex drive. So if you don't got drive, if your interest isn't high and all the social things that you talked about, it makes sense that this is what causes the problem with fertility. We're not having kids because we're not into it. Mm-hmm. We can't afford it. We can't afford it. We don't want to get a disease. Kids cost money. But thankfully we do. And Amherstburg does. I see there's a lot of kids. There's a lot of medium-aged women I notice in their 30s having children, and great. Got to have more kids. You got to get out there. So if you get off the drugs, you say, well, get off the drugs, Kevin. What are we going to take? We got problems. We have to take drugs. No, you don't. Here's my issue.
No, you don't.
Here's my issue with doctors. Listen, surgeons I love. I told you, if I need an operation, I think they're amazing. I think surgeons who do surgery and operate and remove cancer and fix bones and do all these wonderful things in your insides are great doctors and nurses and the whole thing. The hospitals are very efficient. But then we have the other end of the spectrum, which is naturalists, nutritionists, dietitians, holistic type of training. I love them too. The ones I have issues with mostly are doctors who just prescribe medications.
I agree. I could see that.
Guy goes to the doctor, says, and this has happened. Guy, I'm not feeling good. I'm depressed. I'm down. How many guys go that and just go to a doctor and say, "Can you give me something because I feel so down?" Mm-hmm. So what do? Yeah, we got medication for that. So okay, good. They put you on an antidepressant medication. Doc, I've got something going on. I'm overweight. Oh, okay. Then we'll put you on Ozempic. Or Doc, I've got whatever. You go in for everything. They'll find a symptom. They'll find a symptom and a reason to give you a drug.
Yep. And half the time it'll be, here, take this. Come back and tell me what it did. And then what? I could do that.
I think, and then yeah. So when was the last time you went to a doctor and they said, well, why don't you just follow this nutrition program that I put out for you and this exercise prescription that I put out for you, and I want you to drink a lot of water. And you don't see doctors say that, do you?
No.
They'll just say, take this pill, try this, take, like you said, call me in 2 weeks, I'll come back for more blood work.
And it's not like a big diss to like all doctors. I'm sure there are some doctors out there that are very good and they take very precise precaution when prescribing drugs. But we're just talking from personal experience and
personal experience, but also talking to all my clients' experiences. It's not just my experience. I get a lot of complaints of people with doctors and given. Here's one. Again, yes, we're going to take out the doctors for a second. They're great people. But I got a couple issues. Another issue is when they give you a medication. Mm-hmm. For instance, they put me to one doctor because I wanted to get a blood work done, just do my physical. And they go, oh, we think your thyroid's a little low, so they gave me Synthroid. Okay, I don't Synthroid over this. But did you know that a natural form of Synthroid will be kelp or iodine? You didn't have to give me, T4, and inhibitors or exciters for Synthroid. You could have just told me to take a natural substance. Yep. I thought a good doctor would do that. Mm-hmm. And then so they gave me that drug, and then whenever they goes, oh, your blood pressure is a little, over. I said, really? I feel fine. But no, your blood pressure is a little high. I says, okay. He says, well, we'll give you some medication for that. Not go to yoga, not go to stretching, eat an anti-inflammatory diet, change your lifestyle. No, he just said, take this drug. Mm. So they got me. So now I'm on blood pressure medication. I'm on Synthroids, and then there was something else. Was it something? Another drug, blood pressure medication, sleeping. Anyways, on 3 different medications. Then I do the research, and I find out those medications don't work well with each other. They don't work well with each other. They cancel each other out because there's only so many receptors in the body. So your receptors are fighting for these drugs, and they have this combination in your belly. And they could actually become toxic if you take like vitamin K, too much of vitamin K, and certain vitamins can be toxic. I think all these drugs, getting back to birth rate and fertility and hormones, is all these drugs affect your sex drive. It affects your health. Your liver has to digest all these toxins you're putting in your body. So your liver is your filter, Peter. Your liver is your filter. And like with any other filter, car filter, water filter, home filter, any filter, it gets dirty. And that filter gets dirty, and then what happens to the filter? It overflows with toxins because it's not filtering anymore. That's called cirrhosis of the liver. But so you can only so much can come in. It can only handle so much, and the rest gets flushed in the body. So okay, you're on your own. Body, take care of it because I'm too tired. I'm too beat up as a liver. I can't do this anymore. So then what happens is you build up toxins in your body. This is called cancer. Now you're talking something that grew, all these bacteria in your body, they put growth in. That's called tumors, and that's called cancer. Some manifest to other but that's cancer. That's just toxic in the body because the liver's not clean, because we've got all these drugs killing our liver, all these things. So I'm going on and on and on. But what I've been on for a long time, Petey, as an athlete, as an athlete, and as the most strongest man in Canada back in 1988, and I was a powerlifter, strong. I love lifting weights. I love being the strongest. I was a great hockey player. I love being the best hockey player. Everything I try to do in sports, I want to be the best at. So when I got into strength training, I got a strength training. Back it up. When I played hockey, my coach said, "You got to put on some more weight. You're too skinny. Go lift some weights." So I said, "Okay." So I went from a center, you do hockey. I went to a wing, got a little bigger. Then I got too big. They put me on a defenseman. Then they put me as the goon.
There you go.
So all this weightlifting made me so big and strong. It changed all my positions in hockey from being a little fast centerman to a goon because I was so big and strong. So I played the goon squad. Yeah.
You were Happy Gilmore.
Yeah. Well,
when you was in hockey.
Speaking, I just saw a show Amsterdam last night. Horrible. Anyway, had a spider in a spaceship. It was the stupidest show I ever seen. I swear. You know about Adam Sandler?
Yep.
Yeah. Sometimes he's funny. Like Gilmore was funny. But I saw him in the show last night. It was about him in a spaceship. And the spaceship was going around the back of Jupiter. And this big spider invaded the ship. And he became friends with the spider. And it was all about a love story from his wife that didn't want to divorce him. And he was just the worst. I've never seen it. But you know, it was so stupid. I couldn't take my eyes off it because it was so silly. You know, it was. I was trying to.
Just couldn't believe it was on TV.
No, but he was the director. It was his. He directed it.
Yeah, he had to take full responsibility for that one. Wow.
So if you're watching, don't watch it. I forget what it was called. It looked like just a bad horror movie put together. It wasn't good.
The spaceship and the spider.
You know, and I like watching him because he makes me laugh. You know, I and that show Gilmore, that was a funny show. So healthy, I always tell my clients, laugh, watch funny shows, hang out with funny people, and do funny things, and don't watch the news. You know, I think those are three. But getting back to so the reason why I was strong was when you're at that age and in that level of, you know, competing for the best of your country, all the guys were doing hormone replacement. They're all doing hormones to make them stronger.
Mm-hmm.
You know, hormones, we call it testosterone. We're all doing hormones because if you took hormones, you were strong. And it made the difference of somebody benching 300 pounds or somebody benching 500 pounds. There's no way, you know, I've got to be the first to do it. No matter how hard you work, no matter how heavy you train, that you know, that supplement, that hormone supplement, testosterone, made you a lot stronger. So that's why athletes did it, especially the level. And everyone, it wasn't as if, oh, you're cheating, because everyone's doing it, so it's not cheating. So everyone's doing it. So that's my introduction to hormone therapy. And then, so as an athlete, hormone therapy made me a strong athlete. I took that, and then I eventually got off of it because my athletic days were over. Once I won, you know, the Canadian Championship, and I did some bodybuilding in Florida and things like that, I didn't feel I needed it, didn't get that strength anymore because now I was a runner. Now I got into mountain bike racing. Now I got into more things I didn't need such a big muscles. So I didn't, you know, so I got off of the hormone therapy. But what a mistake that was. I didn't know this, and now I do, and now a lot of people, other people know. Once you're on a drug, Petey,
mm-hmm.
your body own system shuts down. In other words, your serotonin level will shut down if you're taking a serotonin inhibitor.
Yeah, it's telling itself, I don't need to make this, you're giving it to me.
If you're taking tamoxifen, my mother just went through this, if you're taking off a cancer estrogen blocking drug, now they say 5 years, and some doctors say forever, because your own system will never kick back in again, so you're always in the drug. If you come off the drug, there's side effects. So they scare you because they don't want to come off the drug. Say, oh my God, I might get cancer. Mm-hmm. So they got you on these drugs for life. What a great business for a drug dealer to have a client for life and buying drugs off them all the time. That's a great client, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good business. That's a good customer.
So
go.
Sorry. So what would happen could you essentially, if you had to get off of a hormonal drug like that, would you just kind of, as if you were like a recovering addict or something, you have to like slowly wind yourself off of it?
Yeah.
Like retrain your body to make it again?
Yeah, I think if you're a light user, for not a prolonged time, but I think if you've been on it, even as a light user for years and years and years, any drug, then your body, it's like when someone drinks alcohol. Your first beer, you're drunk.
Yep.
Your first beer, I remember the first beer, I won't tell you what age I was, but I'm Canadian. So my first beer, I got a buzz, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then after a while, I took two. And it took 3, and it just kept, No, but I mean, so you needed more drug in you. You needed more stimulant in you because your body built up an immune system to it.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to take more. That's what happens when you're on pain medication. After a while, your body, it's still in pain. It's not. So you take 2, then you take 3. Because it's got to match. Your body's trying to fight it, so you're fighting with your your immune system.
Mm-hmm.
So once you're on these drugs, so here's what the lesson I learned. Once I was on testosterone, then I came off testosterone because I didn't think I needed it anymore. Now, I was probably in my 30s, yeah. So I started when I was like 20 years old. So I've been on hormone therapy on and off for 40 years. So if you want a case study, I'm your guy. If you want to do a medical check on someone who's been involved in hormone therapy and all the things they say, oh my God, if they all the things they say that would happen to you by going on hormone therapy, I'd be ballless. I would have these rages and I would do all these horrible, monstrous things that the government, the medical system, portrayed testosterone as.
Mm-hmm.
Now, women took the birth control pill. That's a hormone.
Mm-hmm.
That's the other end of the spectrum. No, they didn't get put in jail for taking birth control.
Nope.
But if you were to go on steroids, it's illegal without a prescription. So they control it. So my biggest thing is, why don't they? Well, here's the situation. Going back to doctors for a second, they don't know about hormone therapy, and this is a fact. They don't take that because it's so new. That most doctors who have been in the business 20 years plus maybe do not have a clue about hormone therapy. Your endocrinologist is the only one that knows about hormones. That's usually for women with pregnancy and diabetes.
Mm.
So for a man, we're out of luck. We really are. So they say if you go in, I have clients and I help clients with hormone therapy all the time. So if I tell a male client to go get checked, right? So he goes into the doctor. And he goes, Doc, my trainer says I should get my hormones checked. I should get my testosterone checked. You wouldn't believe the instant responses you get back from most doctors. And they look at the patient because, don't forget, they don't know. So instead of saying to your patient, I don't know, you'll never hear a doctor say, I don't know. But you'll see a doctor say, I don't think you need that. That's one. Another one is, it's part of aging. Your testosterone level is low because that's part of the progression of aging. So they try to say, don't do it because I don't know what to tell you. And that's where we get ripped off, because now all of a sudden we know through education and even self-education, just go benefits of TRT training, do some research on low hormone therapy and hormone therapy for men over 50. This is the ones. When I was back in Florida, I worked at a thing called MedLab, a place called MedLab. And MedLab was all we did was test men over 50 for testosterone. That's all we did. We had an on-site machine that could actually test your testosterone. And so I was the guy who did all the consulting after we found out that testosterone was low. Sex drive was a big one. Again, we talked about sex drive for kids who are on drugs, but also sex drive for men 50 plus. It's usually lower. You know why men's libido is low after 50? It's not maybe it's not medication anymore. It's just because you talk about natural life, stress. Stress kills your sex drive. We even talk about that's not a drug. That's stress. Stress will kill your sex drive. It'll kill your hormones. And when your hormones are low, you ain't feeling good. Your serotonin is not doing really good. You're not a happy camper because your muscles aren't strong. Your skin is dry. You don't have that oily skin and that nice skin, and you get wrinkly because your muscles are shrinking, so you're getting wrinkles. People put creams on their body for wrinkles. But what's happened is muscles are like a balloon. They deflate because testosterone now is lower because of medication, environment, and drugs. And then you this is what you need. You go to a doctor, and he gives you that kind of answer, like, or they'll actually write a prescription. The first doctor I came to when I got in Amherstburg, I needed to find a doctor. I was a LaSalle clinic. Is the doctor called me in and said, I have low testosterone. I give the symptoms. I give the symptoms of low testosterone, which is usually, just not feeling good. They're putting on some fat in your body. Your sex drive is low. You're achy. You're just, you're kind of slow. You don't have that big oomph anymore. You're losing your zip. You can just feel it as you get older. It comes out of you. So you've got an issue.
Mm.
And then you read and you learn that this testosterone hormone therapy can make you so much better. It protects you against cancer. It protects you against heart disease. It protects you against prostate enlargement. The old myth was it was the opposite. My father had a heart attack. My father had a heart attack, and I go to see him, of course, and I'm sitting there. The doctor comes in, and he says, "Yeah, Kevin," he says, "your father has a very weak heart." He says it has a fractional rate of like 5 to 10%. What that means is your muscles are so weak you can't even do a push-up. You couldn't even do a squat. That muscle, the heart muscle, has gotten so weak it has no strength.
Mm.
So here I am, strongest man in Canada, strong, and I'm taking this hormone therapy for myself. I know hormones build your strength. It builds muscle to be strong.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, "Doc," I said, I don't know anything. I'm not a doctor. I said, "But if my dad's muscle is weak and he has a very weak muscle, doesn't hormone therapy, testosterone, strengthen muscles?"
Mm-hmm.
He looks at me and says, "Yes." And I said, "Well, why can't you put my father on hormone therapy to get his heart stronger?"
Mm-hmm.
His reaction, I remember his reaction, his eyes widened up. He goes, we don't do that. That's not protocol." So I always had a problem with doctors not following protocol because they don't have the information. So nowadays, it's reversed. So all the things they thought were bad about testosterone is the opposite. It's called estrogen. And ladies, you know about estrogen. And guys, you know about estrogen, especially when you start crying at movies. that's it, your emotional hormones, estrogen. So what happens is when estrogen rises, then you also have problems with inflammation, glandular inflammation. Mammary glands for women, all the different glands can swell. We call that breast cancer because of estrogen builds up in the body. So we give you tamoxifen, which blocks. Now, again, I knock drugs a lot, right? I talk about especially psychotic drugs and things that I don't know. But there are ones that are good. And I think, don't get me wrong about pain medication. I think, some pain, I'd rather have a medication and take a pill and take away the pain. I'm only upset when it doesn't take away the pain anymore, then you go more and more and more and not do other things like exercise and do the things that raise your serotonin level.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So it's very important for everyone to understand that testosterone is a good hormone and to get educated on testosterone. Now, when I went off testosterone, I told you when I didn't need it anymore, I fell apart. I told you I fell apart. And then when I got back on it again through a doctor, I felt myself again. It's just so noticeable. It raises. It also burns cholesterol. So if you got high cholesterol, you take testosterone because cholesterol is used as fuel. So my biggest thing, I guess, I'm trying to get across is about hormones for whether it's birth and whether giving birth and having more babies and more of a sex drive and getting off of depression. I think testosterone will be a nice replacement for a lot of those drugs. I think testosterone, if you research testosterone and you see all the problems, testosterone actually was labbed for an antidepressant. It wasn't for your muscles when it first came out. It was actually it was recommended as an antidepressant. So it's got antidepressant properties. Then it's also got strength properties to make your muscles strong, make you virile, make get your libido up so you feel like a man should, have sex drive. Cognitive function. The cognitive function we talked about the serotonin, but the mood gives you confidence, gives you strong. If you got good sex drive, you're a confident person, you'll do well in life. You'll do better at your job. You'll do better in your relationship. You'll do better with your kids. So I think there's a real mismatch of testosterone therapy. So I have a lot of information on testosterone therapy. I've been doing it from all my life for 40 years, and I've never heard of a person dying from taking testosterone. You got to look hard to find the negatives, and I guarantee I can probably refute most of those negatives. So my doctors, get knowledgeable. What's wrong with a doctor just taking a course in hormone therapy? What's wrong with a doctor taking some courses in nutrition? What's wrong with a doctor taking some courses they go to school for a long time? I'm sure they can fit that in somewhere.
Somewhere, for sure.
I'm sure that. Petey, what do you say we take a little music break and come back and go on to something different?
Yeah, for sure.